are looking live at Talladega Superspeedway. 3366 Speedway Boulevard is the address of the attention of the stock car racing world for the next 3 days as ARCA and NASCAR return to Alabama. It was Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s day last May in the Geico 500. The sport and certainly the state's most popular driver dominated the day in his number 88 Nationwide Insurance Chevrolet, taking Junior Nation to victory lane in a big-time Talladega celebration. But can Dale do it again? Or can anybody beat those lightning-fast Joe Gibbs Toyotas? Or will it be someone else's day to shine in the Dega sunshine? Well, we can't answer that question until Sunday afternoon. But for the next 30-plus minutes, we'll spend most of our time focusing on 3 Alabama drivers who are looking to put their name in the history books at the biggest, baddest, fastest racetrack in the world. Here's what's coming up this week.
We'll have the complete race weekend schedule for Talladega. Then we'll introduce you to 3 Alabama drivers looking to make a little magic this weekend at their hometown track. Thomas Moose Prayter is a native of Mobile and quickly becoming an ARCA regular. Joey Gattina is from Pelham, just outside Birmingham, and his racing road, well, it's been a tough one. And we'll have part 2 of our sit-down with Bret and Stacy Holmes of Munford on the eve of Bret's Dega debut. Tony Dalrymple, sales manager of Green Oil Company in Oxford, joins us to announce their title sponsorship of the show. We'll have some free stuff to give away and this week's racing calendar. There's the one-to-go signal, the Talladega Race Weekend Preview Edition of the Alabama Racer presented by Green Oil Company and VP Racing Fuels goes green next.
Anniston Storage is one of the area's finest household and commercial storage facilities. Fenced, well lit with security cameras, this multi-unit facility can meet all of your short or long-term storage needs. Anniston Storage is safely accessible 24 hours with an electric gate and keypad entry, each unit securely locked to protect your valuables. Sizes available are 10 by 10 up to 10 by 40 feet. We also offer outside storage for boats, campers, trailers, or motorhomes. Find everything you need at our website, AnnistonStorage.com. You can even reserve your unit and pay your bill. Anniston Storage, 3100 Red Morris Parkway in Anniston.
Spring is finally here. If you're looking for a new car, truck, or SUV,
or just want something more dependable that's affordable to drive,
then come see us at Avery Auto Sales of Anniston, 410 South Quintard Avenue, home of certified cars, trucks, and SUVs.
Don't pay high new car prices. Come see us at Avery Auto Sales in Oxford on Highway 78.
we even can offer an additional 100,000-mile certified warranty.
And yes, we can get you financed even if you have poor credit.
Spring into Avery Auto Sales on Highway 78 in Oxford and our new location on Quintard in Anniston.
Welcome into this week's edition of the Alabama Racer. As you can only imagine, this week's show is going to have a lot of information in it about Talladega. So let's get started by heading over to Big Screen Left and get you everything you need to know about the Talladega weekend race schedule.
Let's begin by reminding everyone that the grandstands for all 3 days opens at 8 a.m. at Talladega Superspeedway. Here's your Friday on-track schedule. ARCA practice gets underway at 8:30 a.m. until 10:20. Then the NASCAR Xfinity Series gets the Speedway for a little less than an hour from 10:30 to 11:20. Then the NASCAR Xfinity Series has a final practice after lunch from 12:30 until 1:20. Then it's the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series first practice session for an hour, 1:30 until 2:25. And then the Sprint Cup Series final practice gets underway at 3:30 until 4:25 p.m. The ARCA drivers will get introduced at 4:30 p.m. and the ARCA General Tire 200 will take the green flag roughly a little after 5 o'clock. They'll run 76 laps, compiling 202.16 miles. For Saturday, NASCAR Xfinity Series qualifying gets underway at 9:30 a.m. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying follows at 11:30. The NASCAR Xfinity Series drivers will be introduced at 1:30 p.m. and the NASCAR Xfinity Series Sparks Energy 300 goes green at a little after 2 p.m. They'll run 113 laps, compiling 300.58 miles before the checkered flag. On Sunday, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series driver intros gets underway at 11:25 a.m. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Geico 500 gets underway with the green flag a little after high noon. They will run 188 laps, compiling 500.08 miles around the Talladega Superspeedway. Now that we've covered all the on-track scheduling, let's take care of the stuff for the fans off the track. The NASCAR Xfinity Series will host an autograph session from 2:30 until 3:15 on Friday at the Hospitality Village behind the Birmingham Tower outside the front stretch. Fans will need to pick up a wristband before the session at the main guest services office located at the OV Hill South Grandstand, Section 1. Each fan who has a wristband will be guaranteed a spot in the autograph line. Following the ARCA race on Friday evening, it's the big one on the boulevard at the Talladega Boulevard. Start the weekend off at NASCAR's biggest party. It's open to all infield guests and renewal guests. The big one on the boulevard starts with a parade, which has featured some of the sport's top drivers, including Clint Bowyer, Tony Stewart, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Austin Dillon, and more. Once the float makes it to the south end of Talladega Boulevard, the real party gets underway with even more fun activities. Just let your imagination run wild. Now, coming up on Saturday, it's the free Saturday night infield concert with headliners Big and Rich featuring Cowboy Troy. It's for all Geico 500 ticket holders. The festivities will get underway at approximately 7:30 as Eric Lee Bedingfield kicks off the party, followed by Big and Rich with special guest Cowboy Troy on stage approximately at 9 p.m. This will take place in the infield grassy area behind East Aboga Boulevard. It's open to all infield guests and any race fan presenting a Sunday Geico 500 race ticket. To note, the North Tunnel Tram, West Campground Tram, and the South Tunnel will be accessible until 12 a.m. following the concert. There will also be concerts in the campgrounds on Saturday night, beginning after 8 p.m. in the South Park Reserved, a band called River plays, and in the North Park, you'll hear the House of Thomas. And if you're looking for something to do Sunday morning before the race, head out at 8:45 a.m. to the Tweet Up at the fan zone in the corner behind the Golden Flake display. Come mingle with your fellow NASCAR fans and some of NASCAR's elite media members, featuring USA Today's Jeff Gluck and ESPN's Bob Pockrass. There will be numerous driver appearances at the track throughout the weekend. Check out the Speedway's website for those details at www.talladegasuperspeedway.com. And if you're headed to the track this weekend, we highly suggest the Talladega Superspeedway free app for your iOS or Android device. And you can follow the Speedway for ongoing updates throughout the weekend across most of the social media platforms. And remember, for any last-minute ticket or hospitality info, you can call the Speedway at 877-GO-2-DEGA.
Well, there you have it. Everything you need to know about what's coming up this weekend out at Talladega Superspeedway so that you can have a great time if you're headed out to the track. We were at the track early this morning with our camera crew a little after 6 a.m. as the ARCA team started moving in their haulers to set up and to begin the process of going through tech inspection for tomorrow's General Tire 200. One of those teams is Max Force Racing out of Mobile, Alabama, with Alabama native driver Thomas Moose Prayter. Thomas, thanks for being on the show with us this week. Let's start by kind of tracing back your path in racing. Even though you're a young man, you've been doing this driving stuff for quite a while.
Well, I started a long time ago when I was 8. I'm 26 now, and I started racing go-karts, and I just progressed through the ranks, and I never thought that this would be my 5th time at Talladega Superspeedway, but, you know, I've just been fortunate my whole life to be able to do what I love, and, you know, there's been a lot of people along the way that have really helped me out to get to this point.
It seems like racing at Talladega just means more to guys from Alabama. Thomas, can you tell us how you feel every time you come here?
Yeah, you know, I love coming here. I've always came here as a little kid. I grew up coming here, and, you know, now that Mobile International Speedway isn't on the ARCA Racing Series schedule anymore, this is kind of like my home track. So, you know, there's so much history here, and I love coming here, and I love racing here, and hopefully we can have a good run this weekend.
Okay, straight up, what are your expectations for tomorrow's General Tire 200?
Well, you know, my expectations are probably the highest they've ever been for this race. We have a really good car. We had a good car in Daytona. We have the Ilmore engine in the car. You know, so we really don't have anything working against us right now. So all we need to do is find a good drafting partner and see if we can't make it up to the front.
What's it like racing at this place, and what kind of race do you think the fans should expect tomorrow?
Well, I really do think it's going to be different. You know, with ARCA running the new motor, I will say that it is made for a lot better racing on the restrictor plate tracks. You know, we raced at Daytona 2 and 3 wide the entire race, and you know, I'm really thinking it's going to be like that for Talladega also, because you know, the way I look at it is we got all the way until February until we have to run these cars again. So, you know, I think it's going to be one heck of a race, and I'm really looking forward to it.
You're on board ARCA for the entire season once again. Talk about living that lifestyle and the support that it takes to run race to race for an entire season.
Well, you know, it's a lot of work, of course. It's only me and one other guy down at the shop, and, you know, we have to get the cars ready to go every week. But, you know, the good thing about coming to Talladega is all the local support that you get being from Mobile, Alabama, coming only 4 hours up the road. You know, we got just so many local sponsors coming on. We got Greer's. They're celebrating their 100th year this year. They're local. Gray Gulf Charters. He's a local fishing charter. We just picked up yesterday the Fever brand, which is based out of Mobile, Alabama. And, you know, and I can't forget about the Realtors. The Realtors have been on my car for all 5 years that I've been here at Talladega. And, you know, you just get so much local support. And of course, it's really tough to do the whole season. You know, that's I can't thank DK Lock enough for coming on board for the past 3 years and being our main sponsor. They really helped us out, and like I said, it's just a lot of hard work and dedication, and you know, it's really the only thing you can do during racing season is race, and I don't see anything wrong with that.
Okay, man, I gotta ask, where did the nickname Moose come from?
Well, when I was 12 to about 18, I was sponsored by the Outdoor Channel. And their logo was a big moose, so they called me Tom Moose, and then it just stuck to the moose, and it's just kind of progressed from there, and now it's just a big nickname. And I mean, I guess you could have a lot worse nicknames, so the Moose isn't that bad.
One last thing before we let you go. I know you've teamed up once again with your former high school teammate and Alabama quarterback A.J. McCarron to wear a special commemorative helmet for this race that you're going to do something special with when you get out of the race car following the General Tire 200. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we'll be going over to Race Fever for the Alabama Institute of Deaf and Blind and auctioning off a helmet. It's an Alabama helmet replica. Of course, it's a racing helmet. It's got the the Alabama stripe down the middle. I have the 10 on each side like AJ's helmet, and me and AJ are going to sign it, and hopefully we can make some money for the Alabama Institute of Deaf and Blind tomorrow night.
Well done, young man. Great cause. Thanks a lot for being on the show with us today, and good luck tomorrow. When we come back, Tony Dalrymple from Green Oil Company joins us to talk about a special sponsorship announcement when the Alabama Racer continues.
Need a place to keep your tools?
Or a place to get away from the wife. Whatever your needs are, we got a barn or a carport for you.
With rent-to-own options and no credit checks, we can help you take home the right barn or carport today.
And with 4 different locations, we're just a short drive away.
So come see us in Glen Cove, Moody, Asheville, or Attala, and let our family help your family get the barn or carport you deserve.
The tire, arguably the most important part of a car. Without it, we could not stop, we could not go, we couldn't drive at all. They come in all sizes, brands, treads, prices, and ratings. How do you know which is the right tire for you? Thankfully, there's Cobb Automotive, and they have been answering this question since 1981. With a large selection of brands and sizes in stock, you are sure to get the right tire for the right price. Cobb Automotive, located on Highway 21 across from Walmart in Oxford, and 2001 Quintard Avenue in Anniston.
Welcome back to our Talladega Race Weekend edition of the Alabama Racer. I'm your host, Jim Jacobs. You know, every good race team has to have a sponsor. Well, the same can be said for every good racing show. We intend to be a good racing show, so we had to go out and get us a sponsor. And I'm pleased to welcome in Tony Dalrymple here with me today. He is the sales manager at Geen Oil Company in Oxford, the local VP Racing Fuels and Additives distributor for pretty much the better part of the state of Alabama for Phoenix City North. And Tony, glad to have you on the show today.
Hey, Jim, it's glad for you to have us on the show today. Really look forward to this new race weekend we got coming up with a race series as well, too.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about Geen Oil Company. How did you guys get in the racing fuel business?
Well, it's just like our regular gas business. We always run our business with our ear forward, listen to our customers' needs and wants. We had a lot of want and need from family and friends that raced that was looking for a place to get racing fuel, but they wanted VP racing fuel. So they come to us, kind of shared their needs, and we reached out 2 years ago. We become a part of the family of VP Racing Fuel. Same great company. They look forward to giving strong customer service and taking care of their customers.
And let me tell you, folks, these folks are passionate about taking care of racers. When we pitched them this idea, they were very gung-ho to get on board with the Alabama Racer, and they're very gung-ho with some of our local racers, like my old buddy Tim Rosdale.
Tim's a good one. I have to brag on Tim. Last weekend he pulled off an outstanding win, Talladega short track. We love sponsoring Tim. Outstanding, all-around good guy.
And, of course, Tim runs the Dirt Late Model Series in this part of the state. For those of you that don't know who he is, you guys are also involved with drag racing and looking to do some other things.
Yes, sir. We've dipped into drag racing, too, as well. We've actually got some sponsors we'll actually announce a later date. Drag's actually an outstanding, I guess, performance racing that's actually really good to get into. Brown track, we're actually looking at some dirt track too and stuff as well.
Good deal. Well, you guys are just big time into this VP thing, but VP is about more than racing fuels. You have what you call the additives.
Yes, the additives is VP's, I guess, version of additives to go into, like your fuel injectors, your diesel all-in-one additives, things that you can use outside of just a racing fuel. They actually have a 50-to-1 and different ratio gas versus oil mixture that you can put in your weed eaters, your chainsaws, and your blowers. No more mixing. Pour it over there, fire it up, run it.
Man, I got to come by and pick some of that up for the weed eater. Awesome. I hate the weed eater, but that sounds good.
No headaches. No headaches.
All right, tell folks where you are and racers from around the state how they can get in touch with you for their VP needs.
Come see us. We're in Oxford with 1808 Highway 78 East, right across from Brad's Barbecue. Outstanding barbecue. Just come see us. We have VP Blue, which is a 108 octane on the pump, and VP C16, which is a 117 octane on the pump as well. Anything else we can get for you, come see us.
Now, you heard me say additives a few moments ago, and that's a derivative of the VP mascot, the Mad Scientist. I love this guy.
Yes, he is awesome. We're working on trying to get the Mad Scientist to come our way, so maybe you'll see him on future shows.
Absolutely, or maybe we'll get him out to one of your local racetracks as well for some of the bigger shows around the state. We're going to be working on doing that. Before we let Tony get out of here, you brought some swag today.
Sure did. I brought some stuff to actually give away.
All right, well, we're going to do it right now. Here's what you do. Right here on your screen, right here below me, go to the Alabama Racer on Twitter and follow us on Twitter. And next week, from all of the folks that follow us between now and next week's show, we are going to draw names, and I'll announce the winners right here as we give you the results from the Talladega race weekend and, of course, other things from around the state. Got several things to give away. We've got some hats, some koozies, and some other cool stuff. So make sure you do that at the Alabama Racer on Twitter, and that'll take care of us. Tony, good to see you, man.
Jim, it's awesome. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, have a great race weekend, and we're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll get back out to the Speedway. I think we've got, let's see, Joey Gattina is coming up next. He's going to try to make the ARCA show tomorrow and hopefully do well for the Pelham, Alabama native. We'll get to that coming up right here on the Alabama Racer. You stay close.
Daffron Auto Salvage in Pell City is where you'll find over 30 acres of automotive salvage, plus a warehouse full of quality parts for almost any need. Just call ahead and tell us what you're looking for. At Daffron Auto Salvage, you'll find it all. Engine parts, transmissions, rear ends, radiators, suspension, body parts, auto glass, even tires and wheels. You'll also get fast, friendly service. It's been that way since 1965. Don't pay too much for parts. Think used first. Daffron Auto Salvage, 793 Old Cold City Road in Pell City.
Waking up to smells of burnt rubber, smoldering campfire, and barbecue sauce. I was there, cheering on the drivers you love and booing the ones you don't, while watching them battle the baddest track in NASCAR. You can bet I was there. Escape reality for a weekend. at Talladega.
Experience the Geico 500 April 29th through May 1st. For tickets, call 877-GO-TO-DEGA. This is more than a race. This is Talladega.
Welcome back to the Alabama Racer. Let's face it, racing's tough. The sport's a grind and it takes money to play the game. Nobody knows that better than Pelham's Joy Gattina. Joy is a real-life walking example of just how cruel racing can be sometimes. Joy, welcome into the show. Before we get started, I probably said your name 3 or 4 different ways. Help me get it right.
Well, it's Gattina, Joey Gattina. I guess the G is more like a J. That's the simplest way to say it.
Take us down your racing path. What gave you the bug?
Well, my grandfather was in the sport back in the late 70s with a local driver, Bo Anthony. They ran the Birmingham, Montgomery stuff, and I got to come to here, the Talladega Super Speedway in 1990 with my grandfather, and obviously fell in love right then and there with the racetrack. And I wanted to find a way to get on the other side of the fence, obviously, like everybody else. So after a little time, we got into the driving school stuff. A good friend of mine out in Kansas introduced me to a different venue, and then I eventually landed at the Del Jet Racing Adventure, where I'd spent 10 years of my life turning laps out here. So they want to step it up a little bit more, and you want to be a competitor. So 2014, we got that opportunity with Peterson Motorsports, and we ran the Mobile ARCA race, and then of course we had to do the test, and then we had a pretty good weekend for our first time up here.
It seems these days the sport is all about funding.
Well, yeah, it's seat time's great from the driver's perspective. You come here to this place, it's massive, so you're comfortable as a driver. But yes, it's all about trying to find the right funding, the right program that fits your style, teams that work with you. So there's a lot to it. So you have to fall back on a lot of friends, families, a lot of great business owners out there to help get you to the big show.
Joy, on a scale of 1 to 10, how tough is it right now to get a seat in a car?
It's about a 30. We're still obviously working this weekend to be here at Talladega in the ARCA race. We were slated to drive the 27 Fast Track Chevrolet for Andy Hillenberg, and I tell you, we have worked months, and we had a sponsor conflict. They wanted to go a different direction earlier this week, and so they kind of gave us 48 hours to find additional sponsors. Right now, we're looking to move over to the 06 Chevrolet for Peterson Motorsports, and it's kind of funny, as we look at our watch, we're watching our phone, we're waiting to secure our funding to make sure we race tomorrow.
So as we talk here right now, you don't know if you're in the show tomorrow or not. This has really turned into a last-minute deal for you, hadn't it?
Absolutely. And I've done this on my own. Pretty much I do all of it, my PR, my marketing, everything. Had a full-time ride set up this year with a different team, and went down to Daytona. It was just a very unprepared organization. We had 8 hours to put a car together, and we just saw things a little different. So it was time to go a different direction. So we spent all winter long working on one program. And when you have something so early in the year, you want to go a different direction. You kind of have to start over, and that's kind of where we are right now. But our goals are simple. We'd love to be here at Talladega tomorrow, and then after that, we want to start setting our sights back on the Camping World Truck Series and trying to make a couple of starts this year. My next ultimate goal is to run a truck race here at Talladega. So that's possible this year, but like I said, it all comes down to money.
Well, you may be in luck. This show can be seen anywhere in the world. If you want to, give out your cell phone number, and maybe somebody will call in with a little sponsorship coin and help you out.
Absolutely. It's 205-504-9360. It's Joey Gattina. We have a couple of spots on the car, and we can have as many as you'd like. $500 get your name on the car. Just helps us get going, and our primary, hopefully, we'll have them announced very soon as well. But thank you all, and happy race weekend.
Joy, thanks for being with us on the Alabama Racer, and honestly, we hope you're in the show tomorrow. Nice guy. Hope things work out for him. When we come back, we'll have this week's racing calendar. Boy, it's jam-packed full of stuff. And part 2 of our interview with Bret and Stacy Holmes on the eve of Bret's Super Speedway debut tomorrow here at the Talladega Super Speedway. That is all when we come back next.
We build things that work the way you wish they would. like a front-end loader you can detach from your seat, or a mower deck you just drive over and cut through knee-deep grass no problem. Yep, we thought the same thing you did. That's why we build them this way. That's how we run. Nothing runs like a deer.
Waking up to smells of burnt rubber, smoldering campfire, and barbecue sauce. I was there, cheering on the drivers you love and booing the ones you don't, while watching them battle the baddest track in NASCAR. You can bet I was there. Escape reality for a weekend at Talladega.
Experience the Geico 500 April 29th through May 1st. For tickets, call 877-GO-TO-DEGA. This is more than a race. This is Talladega.
The racing calendar is busy with racing across the state once again this weekend, so let's get right to it. It's a Friday-Saturday night doubleheader at Talladega Short Track for NASCAR weekend. For fans at the Superspeedway, the TST ticket office will be open daily starting at 9 a.m. for your convenience on Friday and Saturday. The gates open at 3 each afternoon, with racing starting shortly after the drivers' meeting at 6 p.m. both nights. Grandstand admission is just $20, with kids 9 and under admitted free. On Friday night, it's a full racing program with a $2,000 to win super late model feature. On Saturday, the Southern All-Stars take on the Hornets' Nest in a 40-lap showdown. And just announced, the Naismith Racing Late Model Series will be at Talladega Short Track both nights, with a 40-lap feature on Friday night and a 50-lapper on Saturday. Congratulations to last Saturday's winners at TST, Tim Rozelle in Super Late Model, Josh Atkins in Crate Late Model, Bubba Lackey in Sportsman, Michael Blakeney in Thunder Car, Corey Corriquette in Street Stock, and Nick King in the Hot Shots. Down the road a bit, Mother Nature hasn't been kind to Penton Raceway in Lafayette, as their rescheduled opener last Friday once again fell to rain. They'll try again in 2 weeks on May the 13th when the Naismith Series comes to town. Plus, you'll see a full slate of racing action, including Crate Late Model, Limited Sportsman, Penton Late Model, Hobby Stocks, and Bandits. The gates open at 5, with hot laps getting underway at Penton at 7:30. After a week off, the action continues Saturday night at Montgomery Motor Speedway with the Show Me the Money Twin 50s featuring the Pro Late Model division. You'll also see Street Stocks, Late Model Sportsman, and the Modified Minis. The gates in Montgomery will open at 5 o'clock, with qualifying at 6 and the racing at 7. Tickets are $15 for adults, $10 senior and military. They are $5 for kids 6 to 12, and children under 5 are admitted free. The weekly action continues Saturday night at East Alabama Motor Speedway in Phoenix City. See a full slate of action, with the gates opening at 5 o'clock and racing at 7:30. Admission is just $12 for adults, with kids 12 and under admitted free. Congratulations to last Saturday's winners at EAMS, Richie Rocketman Stevens in the late models, Russell Welch in limited late model, Chuck Coggins in hobby, Herbie Donath in Street Stock, Billy Duell Jr. in Road Warrior, and Rodney Gorman in the Hot Shots. Huntsville Speedway's fastest divisions returned to action this past Saturday night with an exciting dual 50-lap feature for both the open-wheel modified and limited late model divisions. This week, racing will feature the Super Truck, Sportsman, Super Stock, Mini Modifieds, Pro Buzz, Buzz, and Hot Shot divisions. The pit gates will open at 3 o'clock, the front gates at 5, with qualifying getting underway at 6 p.m., and the first green flag of the evening goes in the air at 7. Admission is $10 for adults, $5 children ages 7 to 11, with kids 6 and under admitted free. Congratulations to last week's Huntsville Speedway winners in limited late model John Thomas, in open wheel modified Troy Gray, in the mini modified Tony Robinette, in Buzz, Jay Hammering, in Super Stock, Junior Jordan, and in the Hot Shots, Josh Mack. Well, they're at it again this Saturday at Shelby County Speedway over in Wilsonville. There's dirt action every Saturday night. Gates open at 5 o'clock and hot laps at 6:30. Congratulations to last week's Shelby County winners, Willie Trewick in Buzz, Chris Howell in the Hogs, Sam Ramsey in the Super Pony, Jeremy Edwards in Street Stock, and Virgil Taylor in Crate Sportsman. It's another season opener to report this Saturday, this time at Fort Payne Motor Speedway. They'll have a full racing program in all divisions, including super late models, crate late models, sportsman, hobby, A-hobby, pony stock, and front-wheel drive. The gates at Fort Payne open at 5 o'clock with racing at 7:30. The grandstand admission is just $10, with kids 12 and under admitted free. Now, if you don't see your track on the show, it is just because we don't have your info. Send weekly results, upcoming events, photos, and video to us via email at thealabamaracer@fnnnetwork.com. Deadline to be on each week's show is 12 noon every Tuesday.
Bret Holmes is on the eve of his super speedway racing debut at his hometown track in tomorrow's running of the ARCA General Tire 200 at the Talladega Super Speedway. Last week, we learned about Bret's racing roots and how he got started in the sport. In part 2 of our sit-down interview with Bret and Stacy Holmes, we'll turn our attention to the future. Guys, welcome back to the Alabama Racer. Stacy, how much of the circumstances with GMS were planned and how much of it was just dumb luck?
During last year, me and Bret was wanting to run a few ARCA races at the end of the season. And there again, I was talking to Kenny Schrader, and Schrader gave me some advice. He said, Stacy, be patient. At the end of this year, you know, he felt like, you know, that I would find some real good quality cars that you know, that was coming up for sale. And, you know, I just listened. And so Bret didn't run, you know, at the end of last year. And at the end of the year, you know, we teamed up, got with GMS, and actually Mike Beam, that's the general manager at GMS, used to crew chief Carl Edwards in Nationwide. So, you know, it was, I don't know, it's been really amazing how everything has came together. And that's kind of, me and Bret went up, met with them a time or two, and it just, you know, everything come together.
Bret, even though you'll run your first super speedway race tomorrow at Talladega, this wasn't your first trip to a major speedway. Tell us about the Daytona test.
That was a great time. I'm really glad I got the opportunity to do it. I mean, you know, Dad and I talked about it a little bit, and we thought it would, you know, be a really good benefit for me to, you know, get some laps in an ARCA car before I made my start this year and decided what we really wanted to do. We actually really planned how many races and what races we wanted to do after that test. And we did really well on the test. We were 6th in the first day and we timed in 3rd the next day. So I think that kind of showed that, you know, I could kind of try to transition really quick. And we did that test with Empire Racing, and it was hard for us not to, you know, to resist to not do the race after that test, after as well as we did. But you know, we took a step back and looked at it like it would, you know, it'd be more benefit for us to just wait and plan things out a little bit better to, you know, have a better plan throughout the season and be a little bit more organized.
Stacy, having watched Bret do so well during the test session down at Daytona, how big was the temptation to put him in the race in February?
Oh, that's I could sit and talk about that the rest of the day because of course, after I watched Bret at Daytona, and he picked it up real quick, you know, and I got back and I actually made a few phone calls, and I'm like, you know, but it just I'm gonna say you get a plan, you stick with it, and right now I'm extremely confident that we made the right decision. But, you know, that's kind of mine and Bret's dream, you know, about racing at Daytona and Talladega. I mean, but it was extremely hard not to load up and go to Daytona.
Bret, if you had went and raced at Daytona in February, do you think you'd be better prepared for what's going to happen tomorrow?
I mean, definitely. You know, the test, you don't get, you know, much of a test on how you know, the draft and everything. I mean, it's a lot different from 4 cars being in the pack and 20 in line, you know, in a row in line, and making the decisions through the race and being really easy on the steering wheel, and even doing live pit stops. All of that would have helped, you know, benefited me a lot more for Talladega, and I think I would have been ready for that more. But like I said earlier, we wanted to plan the schedule out to where it would benefit me more for next year. And, I think getting 2 super speedway races in versus having 1 super speedway race and 2 intermediate tracks in was a little bit better choice, and I did think we made the right decision there.
This question's for both of you. How excited are you to actually be going to race at the Talladega Super Speedway? Stacy, you go first.
Well, I've really been too busy to be excited. I mean, our excitement level, is just, I tell you, I'm amazed how much things change and everything it's taking for us to prepare and be ready for Talladega. Of course, we're excited. I think it's great for, local involvement of the town of Munford, Oxford, our local area, and we're getting a lot of support from local businesses, and it's going to be interesting to step up, I'd say.
I'd say that it's great. I've never won anything more than that. I've spent about 7 years racing across the road at the dirt track and the go-kart track, and just driving by there all the time. And now we're actually in it. You know what I'm saying? We're actually getting to run a race there, and that opportunity is so great. I'm glad we made the decisions we made, and GMS helping us do this, and the sponsors coming on board, Veterans Oil and Cooper Chevrolet, help us do this race. And I think, like I said, it's great, just getting to being from here and driving by all the time, going to those super speedway races and watching it on TV all the time. It's pretty eye-opening to finally get the opportunity to do it.
I don't think I'm overstating this because I know you both pretty well. This has to be a dream come true.
Yeah, I'd say, not a lot of people around this area have done that, and it is pretty emotional. This is what we've, like my dad said earlier, this is what we've worked, and he's worked for a long time now to finally get to this level to where we're able to move up and race with the big dogs now, and get TV opportunities and stuff like that. It really is emotional.
But I want to say this the right way, but this ain't where we're stopping at. We've got intentions, and I believe we can. So now what the future holds is going to be interesting, but I'm working on it every day for, I think it's great for a local team, and not being racing out of the Charlotte area right here in our area, and bring some racing back to Alabama. So that's our goal.
Bret, you're going to be entering the race tomorrow with a lot of fans just because you're from the state of Alabama.
Yeah, I had a lot of people contact me for, tickets and things like that, family and friends, and I definitely think I've got home field advantage for this race. But, you see us doing something like this, and, it's possible for us to, have a lot of success just running out of Munford. And a lot of these teams, like you said, are running out of Charlotte, and a lot of these guys that, running trucks and even ARCA are running out of that area. And you don't see that much anymore as any teams run out of a local area like this. And it's really cool. Just getting to work with Grant Enfinger, another guy from Alabama, from Mobile, getting to work from him. It's almost like it's a kind of a start for a new Alabama gang.
And since you mentioned Grant, you kind of really hit a point, because I'm going to tell you, before we started this ARCA program, I really didn't know Grant that well, but he is amazing. He loves racing just like we do. He's like us. He just wants to go race. I talked to Grant several times through each week, and I'm going to say even Bret's first race and Grant's input on these ARCA cars has just been amazing for us.
I've asked this of others on today's show, but now it's your turn. Bret, what are your expectations for tomorrow?
We've got a lot of confidence going in. I definitely think, we don't want to leave anything less from there than a win. Grant last year won Daytona and almost won Talladega, but got involved in a wreck, unfortunately. And I know I've got the car to do it, but Talladega is different from any other track. You got to avoid the big one, and you got to be there at the end and up front. And it's definitely a lot of drivers and a lot of people have won their first ARCA race, like Davey Allison and Ken Schrader. They've won their first races at Talladega, and I think it's more than just leaving with a trophy, but it's leaving your name there with the history there. And being from here, growing up here, that would mean a lot.
Can Bret Holmes win tomorrow? Tough question. Super Speedway racing is so unpredictable. But one thing's for sure, he's got the car and he's got the team, and yes, he's probably got the talent. We'll be there to watch it along with you, and we'll bring you the results of how it all turned out on next week's show. When we started today's show, I mentioned that Dale Earnhardt Jr. was the sport's most popular driver, and certainly so here in Alabama. Well, when we come back for our white flag segment of the Alabama Racer, we'll have a special feature tribute, Dale and Dega. That's when we continue next.
Listen carefully. If your student loan debt is overwhelming you and things seem hopeless, we've got great news.
If you're still struggling with your student loan debt, there are government programs available that may actually lower your payments by consolidating your federal student loans. Just call us. We'll review your situation and work with you to consolidate your debt. In many cases, depending on your situation, we can lower your monthly payments in half or more. It doesn't matter how much you owe or how far behind you are. Even if you're in default, call us right now to find out how we can lower your payment in half immediately. You can stop the harassing phone calls and the wage garnishments. All you need to do is pick up the phone and call us right now. We can remove your default status, consolidate your federal student loans, lower your payments, and we can do it today. Stop worrying. This is a real solution that can help, so please call us right now.
Call 800-917-8671. That's 800-917-8671.
Waking up to smells of burnt rubber, smoldering campfire, and barbecue sauce. I was there, cheering on the drivers you love and booing the ones you don't, while watching them battle the baddest track in NASCAR. You can bet I was there. Escape reality for a weekend at Talladega.
Experience the Geico 500 April 29th through May 1st. For tickets, call 877-GO-TO-DEGA. This is more than a race. This is Talladega.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Then get on board with the Tax Admiral and let us steer your way to financial freedom.
The IRS is the largest collection agency in the world. They can freeze your bank accounts, seize your car, home, will garnish your paychecks and benefits.
Don't take on the IRS alone. I can fight for you using industry secrets that can help stop the IRS. I'll cut your penalties, slash your interest, and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company with over 30 years experience helping people clean up their mess with the IRS. And we have a 95% customer satisfaction rating.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, are facing an audit, a lien, or levy, then call me right away. You're in charge with the Tax Admiral. Call me now for your free emergency consultation.
Call 800-218-4908. That's 800-218-4908.
This was actually the first racetrack that I drove on. Dad called me at the dealership and told me to get my helmet and be at the airport the next morning, not ask any questions or tell anybody where I was going. And I knew I was going to Talladega, but I didn't know why. We got here and he told me to get my stuff on and get in the car and go out and run and hold it wide open.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has won the $1 million bonus here at Talladega.
Here comes Michael to the bottom, and he's going to run out of time. Earnhardt Jr. wins at Talladega.
And now Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to become only the second man in this track's history to score 3 straight wins at Talladega Superspeedway.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. 4 straight wins at Talladega.
We were winning so many races there in a short period of time, from 01 to 04, and some places you feel almost like you're at home, and this is one of them.
And Earnhardt is going for the lead, and look
listen to this crowd of 170,000 strong.
We have a lot of supporters here because of Dad's success. He won so many races here, and think about all the races he won here. And I love when we go to Victory Lane because I just feel like I add to his legacy there. All I ever want to do is make him proud, and I feel like that when we win at those tracks where he was successful, that's exactly what we're doing. Fans want to see us up front. They love to see us win the race, but they want to see us lead every lap. You know, they get excited when we take the lead, and they're happy when we're up front. I mean, I feel that. I love racing here and winning here. We have a lot of people that are looking forward to the next race at Talladega and coming to see us and hoping that we do well, and we appreciate all their loyalty and hope to be a big part of the checker flag when it drops.
Now, my racing compadres, if that doesn't give you chill bumps, well, you're not a real race fan. Thanks for being here again this week on the Alabama Racer. Don't forget to go follow us on Twitter if you want to be in the running for some of that free VP Racing swag that Tony brought in earlier today. Also, make sure that you subscribe to us on YouTube. You can do that at FNN Network Sports. That is on the YouTube channel. That'll get you notifications of when we post new editions for the Alabama Racer that you can watch on demand. If you just can't wait for YouTube, we're here every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Plus, we have a replay right after the show, usually around 9 or a little after. Then 3 more replays on Saturday so that you never miss a chance to see it on the FNN channel at fnnnetwork.com. Hey, we got to get out of here. I got to go get ready to get out to the Speedway tomorrow and watch some racing. Looking forward to it. Thanks a lot for joining us. And remember, if you're not first, you're last. We'll see you next week.